Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The General Hospital update for the week of July 27th to 31st says that a significant recast will return to Port Charles, while Ethan Lovett goes crazy about a new arrival. Michael Corinthos will also enjoy his newfound power at deception, which will lead to some feuding. At JH, Britt Westbourne will stun Jason Morgan with a good slap, but it will appear to be an excuse to refer to him as a patient and chat privately in an examining room. Jason will also give Carly Spencer a heartfelt embrace when they meet each other for the first time since his WSB captivity. Sonny Corinthos may urge Jason to execute a job for him, but Jason may announce that he is leaving the criminal organization to focus on being the best father he can be to Danny Morgan. Meanwhile, Willow Kane is shocked to learn that Nina Reeves is to blame for Drew Kane nearly drowning. Drew would be dead if not for Giovanni Gio Palmieri, who will come to his rescue. Jack Brennan will pull off his own rescue when he offers Valentine Cassadine what he wants and obtains the leverage contained in the black box. It may arrive just in time to prevent Drew from telling the truth about Willow and Nina's conduct. Jocelyn Jacks and Trina Robinson will then spend the evening with Emma Scorpio Drake, who will question Jocelyn about her role as a WSB agent now that the truth has been revealed. Trina will also chat with Kai Taylor about the Drew Lake drama, but they will build the incorrect theory about what transpired. Kai and Trina may conclude that Willow is responsible for another murder attempt on Drew. Michael will be on a power trip at deception now that he has purchased Maxie Jones shares. There may be some confrontations as a result, but Lucy Coe will have someone on her side when Serena enters the fray. Kelly Kruger's first episode as Serena Williams will premiere on July 30th. The same day, Troy Lennon Appel will make his debut as Hudson, a businessman who will undoubtedly rattle Ethan. Ethan's efforts to conceal his shady past appear to be futile when Hudson tracks him down, forcing him to flee from PC entirely. Lulu Spencer will be surprised when Ethan presumably informs her that he is leaving immediately. While Jason hooks up with Anna Devane, General Hospital rumors suggest Tristan Roberts will play hardball with someone. Will this lead to another unpleasant interaction with Britt or someone else? Brooke Lynn Quartermain will also find herself in a situation where she feels compelled to jump to Danny's defense, so stay tuned to see how she defends him. CDL is the place to go for the most recent General Hospital spoilers and news, so make us your go-to source. The week of July 27th on General Hospital is one of the most emotionally intense periods of the season, with long-awaited reunions, dramatic confrontations, power swings, and the entry of new characters that immediately shatter the fragile equilibrium in Port Charles. The highly awaited return of Jason Morgan and the complicated, explosive reunion with Britt Westbourne are at the heart of the story, leaving fans excited. The smack heard throughout the hospital is more than just an expression of frustration. It is the physical expression of months of unresolved conflict, sacrifice, and shifting loyalties that have defined their complex relationship. Jason's return to Port Charles following his stint in WSB captivity is anything from peaceful. Jason returns home carrying the weight of his decision to defend Little Rocco in a shooting that could have shattered his future. His absence tested almost every critical relationship in his life, none more so than the tenuous bond he had been developing with Britt. When the two eventually meet at General Hospital, the moment is filled with relief. Britt's face lights up as she sees him. She can't believe he's standing in front of her after she'd accepted the idea that she'd never see him again. Jason acknowledges how close things were to being permanent and requests a secluded space where they can chat. Britt responds with a strong slap across the face. The slap is not arbitrary violence. It is the result of Britt's conflicting thoughts about Jason's priorities. While she understands the protective instincts that prompted him to defend Rocco, the decision felt like another reminder of Jason's sense of obligation to family and loyalty, which frequently prioritizes others over those attempting to establish something with him. Britt has a complicated history, including her previous battles with Huntington's illness and other instances, in which she has been dragged into untenable positions by overwhelming forces. Seeing Jason again brings all of those feelings to the forefront at once. However, the smack also has a functional purpose. Britt creates a scene as an excuse to name Jason a patient and drag him into an examination room where they may chat uninterrupted. The private talk that follows is intended to be painful, with explanations, apologies, and the laborious process of determining whether anything survives of their former connection. Jason's homecoming is not just for Britt. He also has a warm embrace with Carly Spencer, their first true touch since his confinement. Their history is extensive, and the hug bears the weight of years of friendship, shared secrets, and mutual understanding. At the same time, Sonny Corinthos may have a project in mind for his longtime colleague. Jason, on the other hand, appears to be prepared to make a clear decision. There are indications that he intends to leave the company entirely, preferring to focus on being the greatest parent he can be for Danny. That ruling, if it stands, would mark a remarkable shift for a man whose identity has long been linked to forceful protection and criminal loyalty. While Jason navigates these emotional minefields, another major narrative reaches a boiling point with Drew Kane and the lake event that nearly killed him. Willow. Kane is in for a shocking shock when she discovers Nina Reeves was involved in the events that led to Drew nearly drowning. The discovery threatens to ruin the women's delicate tranquility. Drew only survives because Giovanni Gio Palmieri acts quickly to get him out of danger. The fallout from the near-tragic event is still being felt today. Jack Brennan pulls out a different kind of rescue when he finally delivers on Valentine Cassidy's request and acquires the leverage stored in the black box. The timing could be key, preventing Drew from revealing the complete truth about Willow and Nina's involvement before the appropriate individuals are ready to deal with the consequences. Elsewhere in Port Charles, the younger generation faces its own set of challenges. Jocelyn Jacks and Trina Robinson spend the evening with Emma Scorpio Drake, who is open about Jocelyn's profession as a WSB agent. Emma's grilling puts Jocelyn on the defensive and compels her to consider how her secret existence has affected those closest to her. Meanwhile, Trina talks about the Drew Lake drama with Kai Taylor. The two piece together the available facts and come to the wrong conclusion, suspecting Willow of being behind yet another attempt on Drew's life. Their notion, while inaccurate, adds another layer of strain to an already explosive situation, and threatens to force Willow even farther into seclusion at a time when she requires assistance. Michael Corinthos has firmly entered a new phase of dominance at Deception by purchasing Maxie Jones' shares. The acquisition places him in a position of tremendous influence, which he does not hesitate to wield. The resulting confrontations cause stress throughout the organization, but Lucy Coe discovers an unexpected ally when Serena enters the picture. Kelly Kruger makes her debut as the recast Serena on July 30th, bringing a familiar face back into the fold with a new personality. Serena's return coincides with another important debut on the same day. Troy Lennon Appel plays Hudson, a mystery businessman whose presence shakes Ethan Lovett to his core. Hudson's arrival is not a coincidence. All indicators point to him tracking down a specific person, who appears to be Ethan. Ethan has worked hard to keep key aspects of his background hidden, including a DNA switch at the PCPD that allowed him to pose as baby Phoebe's father for adoption-related tests. Those attempts begin to crumble the instant Hudson arrives. The strain gets so great that Ethan considers fleeing Port Charles rather than confronting the reckoning Hudson represents. Ethan apparently notifies Lulu Spencer of his desire to leave immediately, which surprises her. Their partnership has already endured a difficult history, and their abrupt departure threatens to upend any stability they have managed to establish. The week has continued to complicate established connections. Jason reconnects with Anna Devane, giving the two a chance to catch up after everything he has been through. At the same time, Tristan Roberts demonstrates his desire to play hardball with someone in town. It's unclear whether that confrontation will involve Britt or another target, but Tristan's intensity implies he won't be taken lightly. Brooke Lynn Quartermain feels impelled to rush to Danny's defense, sticking up for the youngster in a scenario that necessitates her involvement. Her protective impulses show the web of family relationships that continue to shape so much of Port Charles's drama. Throughout the week, the emotional stakes stay high. Willow's outrage at discovering Nina's role in Drew's near drowning lays the groundwork for further conflict. Ava Jerome eventually tells Ethan about what she's been hiding, complicating his already difficult situation. Nina looks to Jack Brennan for assistance she cannot get elsewhere, increasing their bond at a vital juncture. Valentine's exchange with Brennan has the potential to alter power dynamics in ways that will affect numerous people. Michael's new authority at Deception opens up options for conflict and alliance. His interactions with Jacinda point to a potential hard patch, as he confuses her with his decisions, while his overall leadership style begins to resemble the old Quartermain strategy of seizing control and refusing to back down. Gio has some news to share with his extended family, albeit they may not be ready to hear it. Alexis is off her game due to unexpected occurrences. Rocco becomes apprehensive of something or someone in his circle. Tracy is confronted with a shocking realization. By the conclusion of the week, Ethan's huge announcement to Lulu and Jason's conversation with Sunny regarding his future in the organization have brought multiple storylines to a climax. Brooke Lynn's defense of Danny exemplifies the protective instincts that still drive so many of the show's most fascinating characters. Dante may find himself mentoring Elizabeth through a difficult situation, creating questions about whether their relationship can grow stronger. These developments have resulted in a week in which no main character can rest. Old scars reappear, new threats emerge, and previously stable relationships are pushed to adapt or shatter under the pressure. The emotional crux of the story is Britt and Jason's slap, which exemplifies the challenge of reconciling love, loyalty, and self-preservation in a society where every decision has consequences. Hudson's entrance adds further mystery to Ethan's story, implying long-term intrigue that would likely outlast the initial panic of identification. Serena's homecoming, combined with the ongoing consequences from the lake event, ensures that Port Charles's professional and personal realms remain inextricably linked. As the week progresses, fans are reminded once more why General Hospital thrives on the complicated, messy, and genuinely human relationships that define its characters. The coming days will put those links to the test, potentially reshaping the topography of the canvas for months to come. Elsewhere, Sonny Corinthos is under increasing strain on numerous fronts. His economic interests are constantly under attack, and recent events have prompted him to reevaluate who he can trust within his own organization. Jason's divided focus between Britt and Sonny complicates matters even more. Jason really wants time to restore his relationship with Britt, but his commitment to Sonny requires urgent action. The balancing act gets more challenging. Every promise made to Britt could be jeopardized by another situation demanding Jason's attendance. Britt recognizes the pattern almost quickly. She believes history may be repeating again. If Jason continues to prioritize everyone else's wants over their relationship, can anything genuinely change this time? Carly Spencer views the mounting tension with conflicting feelings. She has always understood Jason better than virtually anybody else, making her acutely aware of his terrible situation. While Carly wants Jason to be happy, she is concerned that Britt's return would exacerbate already delicate ties in Port Charles. She gently tells Jason to stop believing that people will comprehend his sacrifices. She emphasizes that love does not always demand silent dedication. Jason takes Carly's advice seriously, realizing that his inclination to hide his feelings has repeatedly cost him important relationships. Determined not to repeat past mistakes, he makes another attempt to contact Britt before misunderstandings cause permanent separation. Doctors and nurses at General Hospital continue to struggle with both professional and deeply personal difficulties. Medical situations strike unexpectedly, causing employees to put aside personal considerations in order to save lives. However, even within the hospital, word spreads quickly about Britt's dramatic fight with Jason. Everyone holds an opinion. Some believe Britt's reaction was totally justified. Others sympathize with Jason, claiming that events beyond his control stopped him from establishing the future both of them wanted. Elizabeth Baldwin observes everything from a thoughtful distance. Elizabeth, who has shared tumultuous pasts with both Jason and Britt, understands the emotional damage that unresolved affections may create. Rather than intervening, she quietly wishes that they both find peace, regardless of whether they ever reunite. Across town, Anna Devane is still working on investigations into mounting threats against Port Charles. Recent intelligence indicates that dangerous elements are quietly organizing behind the scenes. Every indication points to larger conspiracies than anyone had expected. Anna works closely with reliable partners, but doubt lingers regarding exactly who can be trusted. Even long-standing friendships are showing symptoms of tension as hidden agendas surface. Meanwhile, joy around the returning inhabitant gradually gives way to mistrust. Unexpected encounters suggest that someone has been surreptitiously observing the newcomer's arrival. Anonymous communications began arriving. Vehicles seem to follow established routes. Certain talks abruptly end whenever specific names are introduced. The disquieting pattern convinces some people that the trip home was not as undetected as previously thought. Whoever is paying close attention has their own agenda. The most distressing topic of the week revolves on young Hudson and his increasingly alarming behavior near Ethan. Initially disregarded as juvenile fantasy, Hudson's words gradually grow impossible to ignore. He begins making bizarre observations, which make Ethan noticeably uncomfortable. Hudson claims to be able to see things that others cannot. He asks disquieting inquiries about incidents that apparently happened before he was even born. His descriptions include elements that appear far too accurate to be coincidental. Ethan dismisses the first several events, figuring Hudson just overheard conversations between grown-ups. However, the weird moments continue to escalate. Hudson discovers a hidden object tied to Ethan's background. He repeats words uttered secretly years ago. He even predicts someone's arrival moments before they emerge. Each new occurrence shakes Ethan even more than the last. Others initially disregard Ethan's rising concern, believing that stress is leading him to react excessively. However, after witnessing Hudson's extraordinary findings firsthand, numerous family members begin to reconsider their doubts. The toddler himself is perplexed by everyone's reactions. To Hudson, he's only describing what seems entirely normal. However, the adults around him know that nothing about these occurrences is usual. Laura Collins becomes particularly concerned after hearing several reports of Hudson. She wonders if the child unwittingly possesses information that was intentionally shared, or if another reason exists entirely. Kevin Collins tackles the subject from a psychological standpoint, emphasizing patience before jumping to supernatural conclusions. Even Kevin struggles to describe each incident logically. Ethan begins going over past memories related to Hudson's intriguing comments. The deeper he digs, the more disturbing connections he uncovers. Long-forgotten names reappeared. Hidden family truths may resurface. Past blunders that were thought to be permanently buried now appear to be poised to reappear. As his paranoia deepens, Ethan wonders if someone is influencing Hudson for a greater purpose. If this is the case, finding that person is vital before any further damage occurs. Meanwhile, Drew continues to face political and personal challenges. His recent moves have generated enemies from all sides, leaving him increasingly isolated. Attempts to restore damaged relationships face opposition as trust erodes. Willow is also dealing with emotional ramifications from previous occurrences. She dearly wants security for her family, but is constantly drawn into problems beyond her control. Conversations with loved ones show how fatigued she has become. She wonders if peace is still conceivable in Port Charles. Nina keeps a close eye on Willow and Drew's interactions. Recognizing chances when others see just chaos, she quietly positions herself to affect results. Her ability to read people's emotional vulnerabilities remains one of her best assets. It's unclear whether she uses that capacity to reconcile or manipulate. Meanwhile, Ava Jerome detects shifts in authority across Port Charles. She understands that moments of instability frequently result in unforeseen possibilities. Ava, remaining cautious but vigilant, begins to ponder tactics that could strengthen her position before rivals strike. Casual chats at the Metro Court quickly escalate into heated conflicts. Secrets uttered in private eventually become public knowledge. Unexpected observers hear critical information. Old conflicts resurface over misconceptions that could have been prevented via open communication. The hotel is once again the focus of huge drama. Jason ultimately discovers Britt alone, facing the metropolitan skyline. Neither speaks immediately. The quiet itself conveys years of unresolved emotion. Finally, Jason apologizes not just for leaving, but for feeling that protecting Britt required remaining away. He confesses that fear influenced his judgments more than courage. Britt listens quietly. Although the anguish has not subsided, seeing Jason finally express himself instead of hiding behind obligation soothes her rage. She admits that the slap was not intended as a form of retaliation. It was about pushing him to suffer a portion of the pain she had endured for so long. Jason nods. He understands. For the first time in years, neither of them can deny that their common history has an impact on them. The eventual outcome of reconciliation is uncertain, but honest communication has finally replaced painful silence. Meanwhile, the returning inhabitant discovers evidence that someone has been going through old family possessions. Photos are missing. Letters have disappeared. Locked drawers reveal traces of forced entrance. Whatever they hope to find may already be gone. The revelation raises critical issues about whether the danger has passed or is just beginning. As Friday approaches, every storyline becomes more questionable. Hudson's weird conduct worsens. Ethan discovers another terrible hint related to forgotten history. Despite insurmountable difficulties, Jason and Britt cautiously explore the idea of repairing trust. The returning inhabitant learns that coming home may have put loved ones in risk. Anna gets closer to revealing covert foes operating around Port Charles. Sunny prepares for disputes that could jeopardize both career and family. Carly prepared herself for the emotional consequences that will affect almost everyone she loves. By the conclusion of the week, one thing becomes abundantly evident. Port Charles is embarking on another remarkable chapter, in which the past and present collide spectacularly. Emotional reunions provide hope, unpleasant confrontations require accountability, suspicious behavior instills fear, and recurring faces serve as a reminder that unfinished stories never fully disappear. With relationships changing, frightening secrets revealing, and fresh mysteries arising from every part of town, the ramifications of this extraordinary week will continue to shape the lives of Port Charles residents long after the last scenes fade to black.